You want to meet a princess, you need to kiss a few porcupines. Most guys are simply not running high enough volume. They're not running enough numbers in their approaches to actually achieve their potential. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly the kind of numbers you need to be running to get a date, how many approaches you need to realistically do to even get those numbers to begin with. And I'm going to go a little bit deep here, gentlemen, on what my ambitions are for you, basically, as your coach, as your wing bro. So I'm Joseph, I'm the wing bro. I'm here to help with all things cold approach and relationship oriented. And let's just get straight into things. So the model I operate on is a pyramid model. The foundations underground of this pyramid are all the basic stuff you already know about. Are you dressed respectably? Do you go to the gym? Are you presentable? You talk reasonably well? You know, are you well groomed? I hope you're not going out to do approach after 7 days working down a mine. You're not stinking as you go out to do these approaches. That's all the foundational stuff. That's obvious, right? Then we get on to the base layer of the pyramid. And the base layer of the pyramid is simply how many skilled, committed approaches are you doing per week. So if you're doing 2 or 3 approaches a month, let's be real, as we walk through the market here, let's be real, it's not enough, mate. It's not even, you haven't even got started. If you're doing 2 or 3 approaches every weekend, you're dipping your toe in. You're dipping your toe in, right? 2 or 3 approaches is a warm-up, mate. It's a pre-warm-up, okay? So you need to be doing at least 10 approaches a week to even have any foundation, And the wider that foundation is, the wider that base layer is, essentially the more approaches you're doing, the greater your chances of success, the greater your chances of actually building layer 2 and layer 3. I'll run the numbers for you in a bit more detail in a moment, but let's go up from layer 1 to layer 2. So you're out there now, you're doing 50 approaches a month. Of those approaches, you are not going to close 50 girls. Why is this? Some of them are simply not available. Some of them are not going to be interested in you. Yeah, and this is part of the maturity process as a guy. This is part of the maturity process. Not all girls are going to like you, bruv. It is what it is, yeah? There's no man on earth who's attractive to every single woman, okay? It just is what it is. So, of those 50, let's say maybe you get 10 numbers. Maybe you're actually pretty good. You're going with a 20% rate. The ones who are available, they're actually interested. Well done. From that 50, you've now got 10 numbers. That's layer 2. And layer 3 is, of those 10 numbers you have, how many of these girls are actually coming out to meet you, dating you, hooking up with you, and you know what? Maybe procreating with you, brother. Maybe we're going to be walking down the aisle in a few years' time with one of these sexy seductresses you met in the mall, the park, the streets. So what are the numbers looking like? Of those 10 numbers, you can probably expect between 1 and 4 women to actually follow up with you. If consistently you've got 50 numbers and no one is following up, then you've got an issue. But if you've got 50 numbers and you go, oh, wing bro, I've only got 5 or 10 dates out of it. No, that's okay. That's perfectly normal. And that's why this thing is a pyramid, okay? Do you understand the metaphor here? Yep, it is a pyramid. You go out and do 200 approaches, you get 30 numbers, and you get 8 dates from that. That would be pretty normal, okay? So that's what this pyramid looks like. And I hope that makes you feel, A, better about yourself, that if you're going out and you're doing 2 or 3 approaches and you're getting nowhere, well, frankly, that's how it's gonna work. But B, I also want you to understand how active you need to be in this process, okay? You cannot just be sitting around expecting this to happen for you. Sorry for the wind. but we're getting attacked again by the CCP. But it's not going to happen on its own, okay? You're going to have to go out there and be proactive. And you might say, oh, Joseph, shouldn't the numbers be so much higher? Shouldn't you be closing 90% and then 90% of those girls come out with you on a date? Bruv, this isn't a film, yeah? This is not your teenage fantasy. This is the real world we're operating in. And let me give you a comparison. So, Ronaldo, the footballer Ronaldo, and Harry Kane, the English striker, England number 9, do you know what their strike rate is with their shooting? Look this up. These are the two of the top players in the world. Their strike rate is 10%. 90% of the shots that they have are not going in. They're hitting the post, they're missing, they're going wide. Okay, 90% are not going in, and these are the best guys in the world, right? Just think about that. So if it's good enough for Ronaldo, it's good enough for Harry Kane, a 10% strike rate, I think it's good enough for you, my friend. So we've got to be a bit more realistic and a little bit more mature about things. So I advocate a very simple approach structure. I advocate the following structure. Stop the girl with some level of authority. You need to speak to this girl. What you have to say is important. Get her attention. Pay her a direct and bold compliment. They tend to be well received. Have a conversation with her. If things are going well and you like her, invite her for a date, set up a date with her, and then exchange details. The other option is, if things are going well and you like her, just take her on an instant date. Okay? There you go. It's as simple as that. Okay? Do this process over and over and over, and you will get success. It is a guarantee. Okay, Wing Bro, so what you're saying is all I've got to do is go out and repeat that process 100 times and I'll find my girlfriend, I'll find Mrs. Right, I'll find the one. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. The truth is, for most guys, there are just too many emotional blocks. I know there were for me, to getting myself out there into the streets initially and going out to do these approaches. Because when you first go out, you're going to feel inhibition, you're going to feel nerves, and actually those emotions can be incredibly powerful and debilitating. So what you need, first and foremost, when you go out, is a wing alongside you who totally gets it. Who's going to support you, who's just going to essentially, come what may, who's going to be in your corner, and essentially just giving you that emotional support. It's very important. It just is what it is. It's a necessity. Point number 2 is you need iteration. You don't want to just go out and repeat the same mistakes over and over. And this is an issue. It's almost certain. No, in fact, it is certain. You've got blind spots in your approach that you don't even know about. And this is something I'm able to clear up with students, usually within an hour or two. There's usually a couple of things they're doing fairly wrong that we just need to sort out. Okay, so they're not actually operating at peak performance because they're just doing some of the basics wrong, right? It's like you're at a dance and you just literally, you're dancing the wrong steps to salsa, you keep bumping into the goal. It's not going to work, is it? So I provide the feedback and the iteration. So with all that in mind, I want you to do a quick self-assessment, brother. Where are things for you at the moment? Are you happy? Do you feel fulfilled in your personal life? And do you feel optimistic, but more importantly, confident and certain about your options? It's really that certainty. It's just worth its weight in gold. So how many dates have you had in the last year? How many experiences have you had in the last year? Do you have the girl of your dreams? Historically, Have you been dating those true beauties that we all know that we lost after? Let's just be mature about this. There's actually a lot of guys who claim that they like basically unattractive girls simply because they lack the confidence to go for what they really want. How many, the true bad skis that you really desire, what's going on? What's going on? Do you have options, mate? Do you have options? Just be honest with yourself, man. Just be honest. We've got to get honest before we can move forward. And how did those relationships go? And how did you meet the girl? Did you meet her on an app? Did that feel good? Most guys' situation, if you're having issues, you're not alone. If you're having issues, you're not alone. If you've got problems and you struggle with this, you are far from alone. Let's just assess the situation for most guys at the moment. The culture has moved to a point at which it's acceptable for a grown adult man over the age of 30 to be swiping on a screen like an addicted 14-year-old on TikTok in order to try to find a quote-unquote match that was given to you by an algorithm. I mean, just really think about that. Really think about where we are. Do you really want to live your life like this? Do you want to participate in this? And what else have you got on the table? Nighttime, clubs. It can actually be a decent option. But the issue I always found, and I was a club promoter for 4 years, and I was into the party scene. The issue I always found was, of course I was always limited only to the girls who were in the clubs. And I would always find myself out in the streets seeing these interesting looking girls, these beautiful girls who I would never see them in the clubs in any city that I was in. And it always played on my mind, in fact. And so that was one of the main reasons I decided to go and find a coach to help me with cold approach, to help me actually bridge that gap once I'm out in the streets, out in the cafes. So the options aren't great for guys. The options are not great for guys. But in a sense, I think it gives us an opportunity. I think it gives us an opportunity to give a middle finger to a system, a society, you know, a technocratic hijacking of our dating lives, and to go out into the wild and reconnect with ourselves and retake control. No apps, no bars, no one making money off my drinks. I just walk out into the streets, and with the skills and confidence that I have, I know I can go and create opportunities for myself. Yeah, from nothing, my friend, from nothing. Yeah. And this isn't about being fake. It's not about pretending to be somebody you're not. It's about being yourself, being the most confident version of yourself, and having the correct structure and having the correct tools. Okay? Having the correct structure, the correct tools, and in a way the correct map as well. So if you're wandering through the desert, you don't have a map. You're wandering through the jungle without a map, you're gonna get lost, okay? And so having that laid out and mapped out in front of you is also crucial and critical. And I also want you to think about what it's costing you being in this purgatory at the moment. What it's costing you in terms of happiness, in terms of fulfillment, in terms of development, in terms of experience. I did a video a few weeks ago about a guy who is literally stands to lose millions and millions of pounds because he's made a complete mess of his personal life. But that's an extreme case. But what about every other guy's case, sat at home, you know, probably spending too much time on the old YouPorn, yeah? Maybe even shagging prostitutes, huh? A lot of guys will turn to that, obviously. Going to strip clubs, paying OnlyFans. And even if you don't do any of that, it's still costing you just being alone and frustrated in fucking purgatory. Yeah? That is why cold approach, it is absolutely sent from the heavens. It's sent from the heavens. It gives you options everywhere. As long as you have the right skill set, the right emotional frame, and you've got some guys around you. And that's what I want to talk about now, is you are not Rambo, my brother. You're not going to solo run through the jungle alone and take out everybody on your own. That's not actually real. It's not how real life works. A lot of guys who come into approach, they are a little bit solo artist type. I get that. The individualist, I'm the same. But the value of having guys alongside you, guys who are good, is absolutely immense, okay? So when I do sessions, when I'm alone, and I've done dozens, maybe hundreds of sessions, no, I've done definitely dozens of sessions, you know, where I go out and do 10 approaches solo. I can do it, and I can do it, it's kind of my job, frankly. But the difference between doing it solo and doing it with an amazing wing at my side, it's night and day. It's night and day. You feel so much more relaxed, so much more enjoyment, and so much more entitled to be going out there doing what you're doing. I think it's just human nature. We are pack animals. So when we're out in a pack, or at least out with a wing, it makes our life so much easier. So you might ask, is this really for me? Is this for me? Well, that's a decision you're going to have to make. I'd say the major requirement is a good attitude and emotional maturity. If you have those things, you will succeed in cold approach. It's simply a matter of time and application. If you're a high achieving guy and you've got everything you want basically in life, you feel even you built your looks up, you know, you've got yourself in the gym, you got yourself a good wardrobe, and you're still not getting what you want to be getting, and you know there's a missing link in the formula. Cold approach could be the icing on the cake, could be the final step to having a completely well-rounded picture in your life. And then for other guys as well, who maybe they've always struggled with dating, maybe they've always felt like the undesirable, you know, they didn't get girls in school, maybe they had some family issues that didn't allow them to fully be themselves as kids, and they never developed the confidence in themselves they wish they had. Bruv, cold approach is made for you. Cold approach is made for those guys. Okay, so wherever you are on the spectrum, okay, if you have the desire to do this, you know, okay, you absolutely know. I'm not here to persuade anyone to go out into the streets and do this. I really only want to find the guys, and if this is you, brother, if you are that guy, you're the reason I'm making this video, okay? I'm not making this video for tens of thousands of people, even 100 people. I'm making this video for the 2 or 3 guys who see it and go, yep, I get it, Joseph. I want to do this. So you do not have to be perfect to come and do this. Quite the contrary, quite the contrary. This is the maturity process guys need to go through. Looks maxing your way. I mean, first of all, please, I understand we all want to look good. Yeah, I shave my head, sculpt the beard a little bit. I understand all of this, but please, that's literally a female tactic for attraction. Women don't get wet for that type of stuff. Okay, they get excited by bold, attractive, dynamic men, and that's who you want to become anyway. I see it with clients. They're in set quite often, and I'm looking at the girl's face. They often don't even realize I'm thinking, yep, she is really really interested because of the boldness and the confidence of this style of approach. So it is effective, and it's also very time effective, I would argue, as well. So one of the things that I've developed over time is I'm very efficient when I go out. So I'll go out and I'll do 3 approaches within 5 minutes. Within 30 minutes, my session might be done. I might have done 6, 7 approaches. Okay, I've got the number I want to. I've got 1 or 2 numbers. Boom, I'm off. I'm chilling, right? I'm gonna go to the library. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go and do other things. I sometimes encounter these other people going out to do daytime, and they're telling me they do 9 hours and they do 3 approaches, because they're only feeling it with those girls. It's all just a cop out. You need to be aggressive and you need to be fast, get your work done, and when you go out with that intention, the girls show up. When you go out and you get your work done fast, the girls show up. So you can be very efficient in this. And if you're going to be consistent, over time you will tend towards efficiency. And you might even have a question, can I do this in my location? And I actually think that's a valid question. If you're in a shit location, nothing is really going to be that good for you, mate. Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, attractive girls float off like butterflies to beautiful cities, right? To dynamic places. They want in on the action. You know, they want to get to the action while it's there, basically, while the going is good. So yeah, if you're in like a 3rd, 4th tier city of 20,000 people, 50,000 people, you need to move. You need to move. And in terms of actual locations as well, I've done cold approach in, I think, about 7 or 8 different countries, ranging from Brazil to Bosnia, okay? And in multiple cities around the UK. I'm currently out here in Belgrade. And what I can say is it's universally well received. It's universally well received. The reason is I'm polite. When I go over, I'm polite. It's a polite, confident thing to do, but of course it's going to be well received. Women want to be approached, man. Women want to be approached. Yet their DNA needs to replicate too. They're not going to approach us, and nor should they. So we need to be the ones to make the first move. So I just mentioned Belgrade there. And one of the things I think is very useful for guys is to get out of their home city, their home environment, go somewhere else, essentially where they feel that no one actually knows them, and just go and develop this skill and develop their ability to go and approach and speak to beautiful women. So I mentioned Belgrade. I'm out here this summer running immersion programs. My program is a 3-day program. You get 3 days of intensive daytime approach. You'll approach more women than you've ever approached in your life in a condensed period of time. You'll be approaching hotter women than you've ever approached before, women you previously thought were out of your league. And then you get 90-day follow-up support as well. It is a life-changing program. Your life actually will change within the first day. And then you get the follow-up as well to ensure you can cement the skill set and move forward. And if you're out there suffering with this, if you're out there struggling with your personal life, maybe you've been struggling for years, maybe decades, bruv. You know, at a certain point, I think guys need to get help. Guys need to get some help in, right? And I really don't want guys to be suffering alone with this. This is why I've done this channel. I don't want guys to be suffering, struggling solo, alone, thinking, is it just me? It's not just you, bruv. Yeah? Is there any hope? Can I ever do this? Can I ever get the personal life I want? And the answer is yes. Yes, you absolutely can. And once you've got the right support and you're using the right tools and the right system, you'll get the result. It's like if you want to dig a trench, right? You want to dig a trench, you want to dig a hole, yeah? You don't want to use chopsticks, do you? You need the right tool. You need the right tools. Okay, and so that's what I make sure you're equipped with. But yeah, there's just so much out there. There's so much more possibility for you to experience love, for you to experience sensuality, for you to find a woman who you're absolutely thrilled to go and meet, instead of, you know, just the average plain Jane who basically you're just thinking, maybe she'll do, I don't know. Brother, you're worth more than that. You're worth more than that, yeah? You only get one life, man. You only get one life. And it is accessible to you. It is. You just have to follow the right steps. So yeah, so don't suffer alone. As I say, the link is there. You can book a strategy call with me, and we can talk about how you can actually pull yourself out of this purgatory and start to actually live the life that you want to live. So the mission here, boys, is to restore your sense of confidence. It's the sense of confidence really that children have already. It's innate, but it's beaten out of you in 1,000 different ways. This is my mission on this channel, is to restore men's sense of pride, men's sense of self-confidence, one approach at a time. One approach at a time, okay? But in order to do this long term, the idea is to build a brotherhood, yeah? Build bratva, yeah? Because cold approach it's not a solo sport, it's a team sport, and it's an extreme sport. And so you need your teammates alongside you. That's the end game with all of this. And so, boys, I want you to think about what you want in your personal life, what you really want for yourself. Maybe that's something actually you'll find out as you start to do more approaches and you start to date more. You date 1,000 women, you're gonna know what you want, right? You're just gonna, okay? But ultimately, once you begin to get your experiences, you begin to circulate, you begin to get your dates, you begin to have some hookups, you do actually realize, hey, I can have a fantastic personal life with just one girl, with just one dime piece, bruv. You can have an amazing personal life in that way, okay? So I suppose that's a question you have to ask yourself. Do you think that you can just get that one dime? Do you think you can go out and do 200, 300, 500 approaches, 1,000 approaches? It won't take you that long, but a few hundred approaches to get that one dime. Do you think you can do that? And if the answer's yes, why aren't you doing it? Is it maybe some of the things I've mentioned in this video? And how long are you gonna wait, brother? And so I hope this video has been useful to you. I hope there's some gold in here you can take away. And I said in the title, I did 1,000 cold approaches and I found the one. What do I mean by that? Well, maybe I literally did find the one. That's actually possible. I've got some very good options at the moment. International options, different countries in the world. But the one I really found with that 1,000 approaches, as cheesy as it is moi, is me, the inner Josefsky, right? That over so many approaches, chipping away at all the bullshit, finally started to actually go out and express himself in the streets. The reason I'm able to walk around actually just obnoxiously with a camera like this in my face is actually because of cold approach, because I'm used to going over to people, stopping them in the street and so on. So the one you will eventually find is you. And I would wager at the moment that there's so many layers of bullshit that the real you is really buried. His voice is very quiet at the moment. He wants to get out and up into the sunlight. Cold approach chips all that bullshit away. Yeah, you do 1,000 cold approaches with iteration, with training, you will be a different person. You will be a different person. You will be the real person that you are beneath the layers of bullshit. So boys, Josefsky, coming at you here from Belgrade. What a city, what a place. Amazing culture, I love Serbia. The women are absolutely gorgeous as well. Super elegant, super well dressed. Man, incredibly beautiful as well. So yeah, I'm going to be enjoying the rest of my summer out here. I hope the video has been useful to you boys. Take it easy, Josefski. I'll see you next time.